Good day, everyone, fellow classmates, Professor Newman, and to my wonderful audience, prospective police officers. I know that most of you are excited to begin your careers in the criminal justice system. Hence, I have structured my speech to divulge information to assist you in your career path. It is my hope that the information you will hear today would be of tremendous value to help you become great police officers. My topic today is focused on crime and the reason why people commit criminal acts. Crime is very prevalent in our society today. It is not just an epidemic, but more like a cancer eating away at our soul. Some cities are more affected by crime than others, but it is a devastating phenomenon that affects us all. According to Samaha, the rise and fall of crime in New York City, a timeline, the Village Voice. One such city is New York with a population of 8.3 million. It is considered to be overpopulated, with immigrants flowing into the city from all over the world. And the overcrowding has had its effect on this beautiful and famous city. I apologize for not being able to provide visual aids on the statistics to show the escalation of crime in New York. However, the reason I choose to highlight and focus on this city is mainly because I was once a victim of a crime or a criminal act that was perpetrated on me there. Issue of crime or criminal activity can result from various causes. To name a few, race hate, gang activities, poverty, stereotyping, and even police corruption. Not forgetting mental illness, which causes people to commit acts that they possibly have no control over. This means that they are not in control or responsible for their behavior. First, let's look at the definition of crime. According to the Law Dictionary 5th edition, written by Stephen H. Giffords, crime is any act which the sovereign has deemed contrary to the public good. A wrong which the government has determined is injurious to the public and hence prosecutable in a criminal proceeding. Crimes include felonies and misdemeanors. There are different types of crimes. Crimes of passion, that's a crime committed under the influence of sudden or extreme passion. Then you have crimes against nature. This can include sexual deviations. We have criminal coercion, like extortion, criminal mischief, crimes against property, willfully damaging of property that belongs to other people. We have criminal negligence, criminal possession, such as possession of drugs or other narcotic substances, and possession of stolen property. The list is endless. Some of you may not even be aware that simply eating or drinking on a bus or train is a crime in some cities and states, punishable by a fine. In other states, hanging your laundry out in your backyard is considered an offense. The mere fact is that we live in a society which is surrounded by crime. It is everywhere and anywhere and can be committed by anyone. The perpetrator could be someone very close and dear to your heart, could be a stranger, a friend, or even a co-worker. We'll now move on to who is considered to be a criminal. Criminal is one who has been convicted of a violation of a criminal act, an act done with malicious intent from an evil nature, or with a wrongful disposition to harm or injure other persons or property. In society, we have people who commit crimes based on pure adrenaline rush. Some do it for survival, some for pleasure, and we have those who commit criminal acts due to insanity. My issue is, why do people choose a lifestyle of crime? We as human beings, we go through different cycles in our life. We go through hardships in life, but yet some of us find other ways besides crime to solve our issues or our problems. Some people grow up around crime and that's all they know. For them, it's just a norm, it's just a way of life. According to the author Donald Dutton, who wrote a book on psychology and genocide, massacres, and extreme violence, it highlights why normal people commit atrocities. He said the drive to kill is fueled by a societal sense of power and destiny, a sense of entitlement called narcissism in an individual but nationalism in a country. Humans tend to exhibit a greater capacity for cruelty than do other animals, leading some to think that a certain level of brain development allowing for theory of mind is essential for cruelty. People do join groups and so-called religious groups whose ideology is based on crimes against humanity. The members in those groups are trained to kill mostly innocent people for some unreasonable and foolish cause. They also allow themselves to be influenced with hatred and resentment at the world, believing that some form of injustice was done to them. According to the book, Criminality and Violence Among the Mentally Disordered, it illustrates how an investigation of both cohort followed for 30 years, which was deemed principally as a study of inequality and social deviance, and how it was used to examine the relation between the major mental disorders and criminality. Crimes committed by the mentally ill, particularly violent crimes, represents a significant proportion of all crimes committed in the society or committed in the United States. The government and police officers are finding it difficult to prevent these crimes. While the perpetrators are victims of these crimes, while the perpetrators and victims of these crimes are suffering, there is a financial cost attached to society in trying to find preventable ways and solutions to solve these crimes. Locking up a mentally deranged person in a mental institution costs money, and this burden is often passed down to health and social services and criminal justice systems. Mental disorder decreases the risk of criminality and increases the risk of criminality and violence. In most cases, these disorders are passed down or can be passed down through genetic dispositions by a pregnant mother to her child, thus affecting the child's development with inappropriate behaviors, or which causes inappropriate behaviors. For instance, bipolar disorder, which is also known as manic depressive illness, is a brain disorder that causes unusual shifts in mood, energy, activity levels, and the ability to carry out day-to-day tasks. Symptoms of this disorder can be very severe and causes damage to relationships, poor job or school performance, and even thoughts of suicide. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, bipolar disorder can be caused by many factors. One such factor is genetics that runs in families. People with this disorder experience unusually intense emotional states that occurs in distinct periods called mood episodes, or sometimes we call it mood swings. At one moment, they can be overly joyful or overexcited, which is called a manic episode. Then they can be extremely sad or hopeless, which is called a depressive episode. Sometimes a mood episode can include symptoms of both manic and depression, which is called a mixed state. People suffering with this disorder can become explosive and irritable, which can lead to violence and possibly thoughts of suicide. Unfortunately, there is no cure for this disorder. However, the good news is that it is treatable and people can lead full and productive lives. The question is, should a mentally ill person who commit a crime be punished by the justice system? The sad truth is that they would not be punished, but be committed to a mental institution for psychiatric treatment. It's human nature for us to get angry if one of our loved ones is hurt or killed by a mentally ill individual. However, the fact is that we have to accept that the person has no control over their behavior and didn't know what they were doing. On the other hand, those perpetrators who are lucid or what we call being of sound mind, who choose to live a violent lifestyle, should be brought to justice at all costs. But I'm here to tell you that crime does not pay. There is no joy living a life centered around crime. It may seem like fun, but in the end, reality will step in, possibly while you're behind bars. Then you'll realize it when it's too late. The evil things that people do can and will sometimes cost them their own lives or the lives of other people. I can go on and on talking about this topic, but time does not permit me to do so. In closing, I wish you all success in your careers and endeavors as officers of the criminal justice system. Go get those bad guys. Thank you for listening.